in this country. We have freedom of religion. And I look at these charges, and I mean, it's unreal. I mean, Ms. Abedini, your husband's crime was attending peaceful church gatherings for, as you put it, believing in Jesus Christ is a threat to the national security of the Iranian government. I just find that astounding. And for that belief, he is thrown into prison. What does that say about our negotiating partner? Are they really acting in good faith? And Ms. Hekmati, your brother, being put in a 1 meter by 1 meter cell and beaten and tortured. I can't imagine what he is going through. And I know you think about it every day of your life. And what is his crime? Corrupting the earth and being an enemy of God? Cooperating with the United States? I mean, what kind of charge is that? And now all the while we're doing these negotiations. It seems to me, Ms. Abedini, as you mentioned, now is the time to increase the pressure to release these American hostages. Now's the time we have the negotiations. And I would argue you're absolutely correct. We should halt these negotiations until these prisoners are released. We should stop the negotiation until they agree to release our American hostages first and foremost. But I am afraid that's not going to happen. I'm concerned also about what are we doing to facilitate the release of your loved ones. And we have witnesses come before this committee from the administration that talk about this issue, but we get very little information. I wanted to just, each one of you, tell me what has the administration done to further the release of your loved one? And I'll start with Mr. Razan.
Well, I think I'm fortunate because it's possible that the administration learned some things from some of the previous situations. I've been in touch with the State Department. They have spoken with the Iranian government. They've worked with the Swiss protecting power as well, although the Iranians won't give Jason access to the consular access. So those kinds of things. And they've been in touch with me on numerous occasions. When I have questions, I'm able to contact them.
Ms. Abedini?
I've been in contact with the State Department regularly. They share with me that as Ms. Hekmati mentioned, that they're being discussed on the sidelines, and the Iranians are not really responding to that. And if we continue this talking for the last over 2.5 years, almost 3 years of talking on the sidelines, it's not really working. They're not released. It's been almost 3 years for our family. In a few weeks, it will be 3 years since we've seen Saeed. My frustration is I appreciate that they're being discussed on the sidelines, but they're still not home. Where's the action? Where's the results? I don't see any result. Iran continues to shrug it off and not really respond to our discussions on the sidelines. And as I mentioned, this is a crucial time. Iran has to feel some pressure to want to release the Americans. They're not going to do it through sideline discussions and just chit-chatting. And I hope there's some pressure to as this is a crucial time to bring these Americans home and end our pain and suffering of all of our families. And even one day, we would appreciate it.
I mean, American hostages should be the priority, not be placed on the sidelines.
Exactly.
Ms. Hekmati.
Right, just to chime in with the rest, it's pretty much been a lot of our family informing them of what's been going on in the process in Iran, and then being reassured that it's a priority and that it's been raised. And obviously they've done some facilitating of engagement with governments that are have a bilateral relationship with the U.S. and Iran, and reaching out to them. And they've reassured us that they have these nations. Whenever there's an opportunity to engage with the Iranians, that they reach out and they ask about the cases of the prisoners being held there. However, again, I reiterate, this is that prior to us even having this face-to-face engagement, these prisoners that were American that have been released have never been held as long as, for example, Amir, and he's going on 4 years where we're sitting face to face. So I'm wondering, how effective is this raising of it on the sidelines of these negotiations really at this point? And I think that we're beyond that.
I see my time has expired, but Mr. Levinson, just very quickly.
I'm afraid we're in the same boat because right now it has been on the sidelines, but for years we didn't have any kind of engagement, so this has been a progress. But my father's a retired FBI agent, so we've been working very closely with the FBI, but they have limited powers in what they can do. I just want to note real quick, in case there are people watching this online in Iran, the FBI has offered a $5 million reward for the safe return of my father. So we'd like that to be highlighted as well.
That's a good point. Thank you, Mr.